Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
Hey everybody, it's me, CB, and have we got a great show for you tonight. Tonight we are going to be talking about cults, so you don't want to miss that. And there's a lot of stuff going on in current events. You don't want to miss that. So without further ado, George, roll that beautiful beat footage.
Alrighty then.
Welcome to CB and the Boys with Crystal CB Booker, George Biker Boy Holman, Roger Hawkins, and Mimi Acosta. Coming live and direct from YouTube, Facebook, iHeartRadio, Blog Talk Radio, and Apple Podcasts. Bringing you hot topics, interviews, live entertainment, and fun every Wednesday night, 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central. And now, prepare to get charged up with a whole lot of fun from CB and the Boys.
Hey guys, and again, welcome to CB and the Boys. I'm CB, and I got my whole crew in the building. Got the fabulous Mrs. Mimi Acosta. What's up, Mimi?
What's up? I'm present and accounted for.
All right. And we have Mr. Roger Hawkins. Welcome back, Roger. We missed you.
Who that? What's up? Missed you guys. Glad to be back.
Yes. And without further ado, Mr. George Biker Boy Holman. What's up, George?
Hey. It's bad up. No, I'm just kidding. So,
Right.
how y'all doing?
Yeah,
Ready to get it cracking. Crickety, cracking.
Man, there's so much to talk about. So we're going to start off with current events. So did you guys hear about the story? In fact, Mimi, I'm going to let you tell it because it happened in your neck of the woods. All I can say, folks, don't go to Subway. And just don't do it. Go ahead, Mimi. What happened in Atlanta today?
So this crazy little dude decided to go to Subway and order himself a sandwich. Well, apparently they put too much mayo on his sandwich. So he came back into Subway and he shot up the crew. 2 females. One died. May she rest in peace. Her name is Brittany Macon. And Lil Jada, she's been through her little surgeries and whatnot. And today she was able to speak, so that's a good thing. So much prayers to the family, And the whole situation is just crazy. This is just to tell you how bad. It's not just in Atlanta. It's just everywhere. But because they put too much mayo on a sandwich or what? Let's talk about it.
Well, now hold on.
Too far.
Before we talk about it, let me run this.
Uh-oh.
You know me, I'm the video hunter.
Run it.
Oh, you got something.
We really needed to start this show with a drink special.
And a response from the Georgia Bureau of Intense Moments this morning in Johns Creek as a suspicious package.
Hold on.
We have so much news. Look, you guys.
There we go.
We got so much news tonight.
Man, I mean, so much.
Look at this.
It's how you see weather happening now across Metro Atlanta. How you can plan ahead by knowing what's coming overhead. Stay weather ready wherever you are. Watch the 11 live storm trackers.
New details in the deadly shooting at an Atlanta Subway restaurant. We have just obtained warrants naming the suspect in the shooting that allegedly happened after an argument over too much mayonnaise on a sandwich. Now, according to the warrants, police arrested 36-year-old Melvin Williams of Atlanta shortly after the shooting. He appeared before a Fulton County judge Monday and was denied bond. Williams is accused of fatally shooting 26-year-old Brittany Macon and seriously wounding 24-year-old Jada Statham. Statham's 5-year-old son was also inside the restaurant at the time of the shooting, but was not injured. where hope finds help, where courage meets.
Now, with that being said, hold on. I got one more quick one for you. One more for you. Let's hear from the police. You know, they always interesting to listen to.
Right.
Are you ready to make junk disappear?
I've never been more ready in my life.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Gotta pay the bills.
We'll be there before you hang up the phone.
Deputy Chief Charles Hampton Jr. I'm here to provide an update on a homicide that we had at this location yesterday, shortly after 6:30. But before I give you the update, first I want to offer condolences to the victim in this case. The victim was a 26-year-old female who is here at work. And we also had another victim who's 24 years of age who also was shot and injured, who's currently in critical condition. I am here to announce that we did make an arrest. We made an arrest late yesterday evening of a 36-year-old male out of Atlanta. As I stated before, I won't release the name as right now because it's still an ongoing investigation. We still need to provide some information and get some information from some other individuals. But as most of you know, this was a very tragic situation that did not have to occur. What we know is that the suspect came inside the restaurant, ordered a sandwich, and there was something wrong with the sandwich that made him so upset that he decided to take out his anger on two of the employees here. What's more important as well is that the citizen, we had a citizen who contacted us, who gave us some viable information, and who helped lead this investigation in the right direction. As we always say, we can't do it alone. It's oftentimes that we rely on the support of the citizens of Atlanta, and that's what happened yesterday. So kudos to that individual who also is going to be remain anonymous. But quick actions. Once we get the information, officers from our Zone 5 field investigation team, as well as homicide, descended on the location, and we were able to take the suspect in custody without further incident. And so again, very senseless act that, again, someone armed with a handgun who could not resolve the conflict decided that that was the way to resolve it. And so now we have one female deceased and another female recovering from the injuries. And then also there was a 5-year-old child also in the restaurant. So that child was also placed in danger. That child has to go through some type of trauma counseling. So again, this is incidents that we always talk about that did not have to happen. But there's still some residual effects that families are going to have to deal with, not only the homicide, but this child that's going to have a traumatic incident that they have to deal with. So I'll answer a few questions at this time.
Chief, I noticed that you didn't mention the...
All right. He ain't going to answer questions. He's going to talk around.
Wow.
But
Right.
we already know that. That's how they do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's ridiculous. Like, it's the same as when Popeyes dropped their chicken sandwich and people are stabbing each other standing in line over a chicken sandwich. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with everyone? Like,
they put
has the whole world
sandwich,
gone mad? Like, really?
Well,
a sandwich?
Well, I mean,
can you imagine him being arrested? He's in there with all the hardened criminals. He's like, man, I got mad. I punched a guy in the face and I knocked his eye out. Oh man, nah, I got mad. I busted out my baby mama's window, and then this guy walked in. Yeah, man, they messed up my sandwich, so I had to take them out. Like, come on,
for real. I think the worst part about this whole little situation right here is that these girls, these ladies, these young ladies, they were roommates. So can you imagine something like that happens to your roommate? Now you have to go home. Yeah, they were friends and roommates from what the family said.
Here's the thing. While they beefing it up, I'm putting on everybody's shoes, but You know, he didn't just get had too much mayonnaise on his sandwich, so he went in and shot him. He probably went in there talking shit, bumping his gums, and the girls was like, "Fuck you." They bumping their gums back, and it turned into a whole big ass heated ass argument. Somebody got talking about somebody's kicking somebody's ass, and that's what led to him saying "fuck it" and shooting them because he felt big and badass. I guess he was afraid to fight two women, but nevertheless,
still not justified.
Nevertheless,
Still not justified.
Exactly.
Talking was done.
Exactly.
It doesn't.
And then he had of course, he had a rap sheet from here to Africa. He had 8 different mugshots. He's been arrested for all kinds of things, you know, and abusing kids and all types of nonsense. So he was already on a roll. He was getting ready. Getting ready to go back home where he's been forever. That's all that was.
Pretty much.
He missed it in there.
He probably wanted to go back.
They're gonna throw the book at him now. By the way, what's up, Trey?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And they should, as they should.
I wouldn't even been trying to go for a bond hearing. I would have been like, you know what? I deny that. Bond hearing for what?
No, I think they should sew his asshole shut and feed him mayonnaise till he explodes. I think that's poetic justice. Y'all don't want me to be don't let me be a judge or executioner. Everybody getting it. His ass is out of here.
Yes.
It needs to be. It needs to be. The whole thing is just ridiculous. And the fact that he did that was just even more ridiculous. Like, yeah. And I agree that it has to be deeper than just a sandwich, because I can't see anyone doing it, but you know, in this day and age, am I surprised?
Well, I can't see. Yeah, I can't see people doing it. People do everything now. People literally listen to that little crazy voice in their head. Yes, nothing surprises me anymore. I hate to be like that, but you can't tell me anything. You can tell me right now, somebody set a puppy and a baby and a dog on fire and kicked them into traffic. I'd be like, yeah, that sounds about right. That's how terrible it's gotten. Like, nothing even shocks me, because people are just over the edge. They're not on edge. They've gone over. And I'm not saying that there haven't been situations historically where this has happened, but damn, I mean, it's almost like people are like, we got to keep this ball rolling. You know, there hasn't been anything crazy in about 8 minutes. I got to get on the news. It's like, you know, I guess I need my 5 minutes.
Not 8 minutes.
I really feel like that's it. Yeah. Look, give people what they want. So anyway, I'd love to see or hear or maybe read about, you know, something really, really nice happening to that guy. You know, wouldn't bother me a bit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But I ain't gonna just blame Atlanta, but damn, Mimi, they wilding out down there. What's interesting is
that they are.
I talked to my cousin. My younger cousin's a GM of a restaurant of a chain, and I won't say which, but he travels a lot to check on things and whatnot. And he was in St. Louis, and the other day we were talking at dinner, and he was telling me about when 2 employees got into it, started banging. He was like, "Oh, they wild out in the loo." He was like, "These 2 employees started banging, and then they were like, 'Hey, take it out to the parking lot.' Well, one went out there and waited. The other one came out there, shot him flat in the face, and when he went to the ground, shot him 6 more times. And what was crazy was my cousin was like, "Oh, he had a gun because everybody in there does have them. They just all put them in the locker." And it was like everybody went back to work like shit didn't happen. Like, I guess I got to call his mom and tell him he's not coming home. That is how desensitized and crazy this world is. This country, this country. I mean, of all others, this country loves violence. I mean, to the nth degree. The worse, the better. The more violent, the more bloody, the better. And I mean, it's a runaway train. I say this all the time. It is a runaway train.
Look at the president. He's all for it.
Right, exactly.
Oh my God. Have you guys been listening? Speaking of which, have you guys been listening to the hearing about January 6th?
No.
Oh my God.
It's off the chain.
I quit watching it.
Oh my God.
I quit watching it.
Stuff that comes out, I'm just like, how can anyone still support him? He is a certifiable nutball. Seriously.
But that's
a nutball with a power trip.
And if somebody's
he's not going to do one day.
Guess what?
He's not going to do 1 day in prison. Not 1 day. He will not get 1 day. Not even probation.
No.
I'm telling you.
You know what? And I don't even care about that. I just don't want him running the country again. That's my biggest fear, is that this nutball gets back in and ruins us as he did.
We're already ruined. I mean.
No, we weren't. We were not ruined. There has never been a time when America was great. We know this. But there has been a time when we were civil to each other. That time did exist. It did. And I'm just going to say it, when President Obama was elected, we really thought and felt that, things are taking a turn, which of course they weren't. But it wasn't because of him. But we know that racism has always been. It's just been laying dormant. But now it's being filmed and it's out there. It's in everybody's faces. And these days, people just don't give a care. They don't. They don't. The hoods are off. They don't
Trey
care.
for president.
And that is scary. That is scary. That is what's scary. Somebody that feels they ain't got nothing to lose, they don't care. The hood is off. We know how you feel.
Shit. Even people that got something to lose don't care.
Exactly. Don't care. They don't. They don't care.
Yeah, I don't know. I think as a hope is kind of a dying commodity right now, but I also think that action, calls to action, is also on the back burner. See, people do a lot of talking, but what's funny is no matter how horrible we talk about this country and things like that, people aren't willing to let it go or sacrifice what convenience they have to truly fight for it. We'll talk shit all day, but here's the thing: I'm not going to the front line. I'm not going to protest. My fight comes in a different fashion. I'm not a protester because that makes you a sitting duck. But I'm also not one who's going to sit there and yell and make myself red in the face and then get sleepy and go to bed. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep pushing, but from just a different way. So what it boils down to is if there's no unification, it doesn't matter how mad we get. Like my mother used to say, get mad, scratch your ass, then get glad. I mean, you're still going to be you don't want to jump in your car, go bitch about how much gas is, put $5 in your tank anyway, and keep going to work and complaining until we collectively do something. And by collectively, I can mean people of color, I can mean women, I can mean men, I can mean young. But until there's a collective that does anything, we're just going to talk, and the powers that be know that. Well, you two idiots quit talking about votes on the limo.
First of all, are you guys listening? Well, you guys not listening. Are you guys reading? Trey is off the chain over there. He says he will paint the White House
tonight. Hey, see, that's what they know, Trey. Barbecue grill, back, weight bench in the front. They ain't gonna let us back in. They ain't gonna let us back in.
It'll be like,
Jordan's hanging on the wire in front of the house. They ain't gonna let us back in. Cars on bricks and shit.
They ain't gonna let Uncle Ray in park in front of the White House with his barbecue grill on the back of his pickup truck.
Hey, no family members with double nicknames are gonna be able to come to the White House. I'm just telling you that right now. So shut that shit down. Hang it up. Man can't come.
Hey.
It ain't none of this.
Hey, all right. With that being said, let me throw something else at you. Let's take this for another turn. Take this for another turn.
Okay, guys.
Don't play the whole 4 minutes, but just give us some. Just give us some.
Guys, I need. Go ahead.
What was you gonna say?
I need a drink. Y'all are messing with me.
Make your drink while Joy plays it, and you talk about it.
Other kids. We have one kid together, and he only want to come and bring one thing to McDonald's. But what about my other kids? How come you can't feed my other kids McDonald's? Like that's bogus as hell. Like you're not going to sit here and make my other kids feel left out, and you're only bringing one child something to eat. Look, there you go. And I bet you only got one thing in there. I bet you he only even. I'm gonna expose so people can see how he really is. It ain't more than enough food in that bag for everybody. What's up? Because I'm gonna expose you. Because that don't look enough for all my kids. That don't look enough for all my kids. What is that? That's just one burger? One burger on fries?
What he like? What do you mean?
Okay, what about my other kids? Okay, but they're your kids' siblings, though. They're your kids' siblings, though. So my other kids can be left out.
You didn't feed them?
You don't give my food stamps to the baby.
What's that my problem?
If you're trying to help, though, you're not helping out.
I'm not trying to help. I'm telling my son.
How are you helping your son? You're only getting care for food for just having the other kids, his siblings. His siblings, though. He got to be eating for all because of his siblings and they're not eating at McDonald's. No. Why do I gotta put... No. He's not going to eat that food. You can't bring it up everybody.
So you're telling me that I gotta bring, so when I bring my son food, I gotta bring your kids food too now?
Yes.
You sound dumb.
How is it dumb? You sound dumb. You sound dumb.
Where are their daddies at? Nobody told you to talk to them other. You had them other kids. They were your responsibility. They're not my responsibility.
Okay, but if you're gonna bring one.
And she just gonna repeat herself from that point on, which is stupid. She made the only thing she did was put herself on blast. Dumbass hoe. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah,
I love how she made the point to say she didn't get her food stamps 12 times. She gets them on the 11th. Guys, in case y'all don't know, she gets her food stamps on the 11th. The 11th. That's when she gets them.
When was that? What day?
I know Mimi wants to go crazy. The 11th.
Well, I'm just saying.
DBMNTH. The 11th.
The only thing I would have done different was I would have went and picked him up first and then went on. And we're going to have a good little meal. And then I brought him back and dropped him off. Yes. But even still, he did that much. You know what I'm saying? He's right. He's not responsible for them other kids. And then it'd be different if they was together. If they were together and you know, he was playing father for those other kids, that'd be different. But they ain't even together.
Right.
They ain't even together. He's taking care of his kids. So she need to be mad at the other baby daddies. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and she did make it because he did say, well, I do this a couple times a week. So it's like if he's doing this 2, 3, 4 times a week, bringing the baby his little drink and his little, she shouldn't be tripping. She's just having a real big problem because on today she didn't get her. She don't have her stamp, and she only got 1 burger and 1 drink for 4 kids. That ain't happening. But she wrong.
Yeah.
What happened to the other baby daddy? And like I said, right? There are resources. There is food banks. There is all kinds of stuff. You ain't got no food at all in your house, then DFAC should come and take all them kids.
Exactly. Which is probably what's going to happen.
It's not his responsibility to make sure her other children are taken care of. His responsibility is to his child. If she has other baby fathers, which clearly she does, they need to take responsibility.
Yes.
She shouldn't be putting him on blast because she made herself look wrong. Like, seriously. And I'm sure she thought that
it sounded like
because everyone would feel sorry for her. But we don't. We don't.
No, when you sit there and make an ass of yourself, and she clearly sounded like one, but again, you've already thrown out that you've got multiple others besides him. It always appears to be the one who comes around who's trying to be responsible catches all of the heat for the ones who are not. I've seen this in living color time and time again. You know, the one who comes around, be that the oldest or the youngest, and I think I'm gonna venture to say I think we all agree that he's not in the wrong. George said, you know, the only thing different maybe would be to, hey, can I come grab little man and take him and then I'll come back. That's his kid.
Yeah. Hey, Roger,
but you know what? Let
me interject. We have a caller.
Who that?
One moment. We have a caller. One moment. All right. 412, you are on with CB and the Boys. 412, you're on with CB and the Boys. May we have your name?
Maybe just listening in.
Maybe they're just listening in.
Yeah, maybe just listening in. Right on.
Well, you can listen, baby.
But you know what? So what I was gonna say was, listen, guys. No, not being mean, but guys, value yourself more. Like I said, you clowns out there just shooting off up any damn way. And I'm not saying things don't happen, but here's what I would say. If you get with a lady who's got and I'm using the term loosely, lady, who's got a kid, that's one thing. If you somewhere in the middle of 4 or 5 or at the end of 4 or 5, you a new fool. And like I said, you should have your ass kicked and you should be sterilized, because who the hell, okay, let's put it like this. No matter what number you are, she's got at the very least 2, and I know it's more, different baby's fathers. I'm willing to bet you it's 3 of 4 or 4 of 4. No one signed that lease. Nobody signed off on that, which tells you right there, she's good enough for one thing, not for others. I know things fall apart and I know shit happens, but this is way too regular. I would beat the absolute dog shit out of one of my children, be it my son or my daughter. If they came in here, I'm not saying it's hard to find someone without at least a kid. But if you walk in here and go, your baby father or baby mother number 3, 4, or 5, I'm taking out your fronts. I'm just going to. I'll do that time. You know, I know about how much time I'll get. I'm fine with that, because you have no self-respect if you sign on the line with that shit. And if you notice, she ain't said my husband's in jail or my husband's away, you know, in the military. She said, you know, one of my baby's fathers ain't here and I don't get my stand. You got at least 2 or 3 baby's daddies and you can't manage to beat the system like that. She's a waste of skin. I am so glad you ain't got no baby. I'm glad you ain't got no babies, because these things would be like, well, we need to find that address. Can we get a ping on that? You can find me. You can find me right now. You can find me right now. As a matter of fact, go upstairs and ask my daughter what I take out her front. So she'll say he hits hard with left hand, right hand. I'll fuck you up. Like, some things you're not gonna do. That self-respect thing, no, that's a lack of self-respect on the man's part and the woman. I'm glad he's stepping up. Oh, listen, my son is grown and somewhere in a different state, and I guarantee he's still afraid. I guarantee you, he's serious.
And I'm gonna tell you something. I am really happy that.
That's an asshole move, but
exactly.
No. What are you gonna say, Mimi? But I am just saying what George said. If you're with the woman, that's different. That's different. If I'm with you, I signed up. But he's like, we ain't together. I didn't sign up for that.
I was gonna say that I'm really glad that he's not the type of dude that after she threw that food on the floor, that he didn't just drag her out into the sidewalk and throw her out into the street.
Yeah,
I'm happy that he just backed up and, you know, however that ended. Because
or shoot her because of the type of condiment that was on the damn burger. Like,
that's not been in Atlanta.
If that was in Atlanta, she'd have been on the news for throwing away that burger. You should have got 89 what the chicken you threw away. You know, like Chris Rock said.
I would have been right there pulling up.
Yeah, I think it's sad. She's saying a lot more about herself than she realizes. And I hate to be so judgmental, but I don't. I'm listening to her, and I hear so much ignorance, lack of education, lack of knowledge, lack of home training. I mean, it's almost like it's deliberately, it's an attempt to be as ignorant and as ghetto and classless as possible, because, again, I'm going to expose you. How about no, you didn't? How about you made me feel sorry for that poor man for being stupid enough to impregnate you, but you didn't expose him by any stretch. Matter of fact, I guarantee you she'll have a GoFundMe. She'll get Happy Meals for 3 years for those damn kids now, just because it is, with her pathetic ass. I guarantee it'll be McDonald's wrappers all in that damn apartment, and she won't clean it up with her trifling ass.
Yeah, no, that's terrible. But look, a huge shout out to Asset Management. What's up, baby? We saw you. We see you.
What's up, fam? I'm on it. What's up, fam?
Okay, so we need to break off into our segment. So can we do that, really? Like, can we just go on?
As soon as we pay some bills right quick.
Okay, let's do that. Let's say that because this thing ice in the water is kind of watery.
Maybe about to have a cow.
I think after all that, we could all use a drink. So let's throw them drink specials.
I've been started.
Then pay some bills. Let's go.
It's Mimi's drink special. Mimi, let them know what you're sipping on.
I I got that right there.
Okay, guys, I am sipping on a strawberry margarita on this evening, and yeah, that's what we having. Okay.
You interrupted us for a canned margarita.
Yeah, you really should have. I mean, you should have just told us and left it down, and you could have been like, "I made this shit myself." We've been all right.
We ain't lying about that. We ain't lying about that. This came all the way together, and then of course y'all already know I got my little tequila on the side. So
there it is. There it is.
There it is.
Okay.
I had too much the night I saw you, George. I wasn't. Yeah, that was rough on your boy.
What are you drinking over there? What you got?
Stella Peach.
Yeah.
Stella Rose.
Let me see it.
Let me see that brown bag. Let me see that brown in the bag.
Yes,
Oh,
baby. Yeah. Roger, what you got? What you got in your glass, Roger? Come on now. You don't start it without you start the party without it.
Yeah, I really did. I'm actually keeping it pretty basic. I took it old school. I'm just going regular Jack and Coke today. Just kept it kind of basic. I got a long weekend ahead.
Okay, that's what's up. George, what you got? What you got over there?
Here I am again with the.
But you can call me Slurricane. Strong enough to start an engine man.
Hey.
Strong enough to start an engine man.
I'm taking over my segment. You're taking over my segment.
Need not say anything else. Need not say anything else.
Music on mine. You're gonna have to add some music.
Right. Me like, hold on, slow down. I'm perfect. Hey, you better get me on some click now. Let's go. Get me on some click now. Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty fun.
Well, now we can pay some bills. You know.
Okay. Mimi's happy.
Yes, I am.
불타오르네.
I'ma make you pump like that. 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 Jump like that.
Hey everybody, let's get together and feel alright with CB and the Boys radio show. Join us every Wednesday for your midweek motivator, offering you music, conversation, motivation, laughter, and a whole lot of fun. One love.
And we are back. All right. Did you enjoy the music, me?
We already know.
It's all good.
All right, Roger, have you any tips for us today? Any sports and fitness today?
Cheeseburger.
I do. I just got cheese. Yeah. Cut back on the cheeseburgers. No, I've got just a couple little quick ones for the summertime heat. I'm not gonna kill anybody. So yeah, I got a little quickie for you.
Oh yeah. Fitness tips with Roger Hawkins.
Up in this smoke. That's my joint. That's my joint. Get the coffee. All right, so okay, real quick. I mean, we're kind of going through some summer holiday season. 4th of July is coming up. All this good garbage. I want everybody. It's a challenge, and it's nothing crazy. So I want to challenge yourself, since we're about a third of the way through summer vacation for some people, school people, kids anyway. Try something new. I mean, there's Google and stuff, dozens of, ways to do anything, thousands of exercises. Try something new. So, for instance, you may not have been, the star athlete in college or anything, but let's say you were a runner. Try something like yoga or Pilates. If you were a dancer, ballet, whatever, try racquetball. I encourage your body to wake back up. You've got muscle memory for a lot of things, but unfortunately, we stop and we don't go back. How many times do you or other people go, oh man, I used to run in school, or I used to cheer, or I used to play ball, and you don't realize, monkey ass ain't been in high school since heck was a pup. It's been about 3 decades. Your shit is sleep like Rip Van Winkle. Really wake yourself up. You can though. Your mind can reawaken those muscle groups and things like that. It may take a little bit, because everybody doesn't like going to the gym and lifting weights. Everyone doesn't like playing football. Everyone doesn't like tap or jazz, ballet, but do something that's really kind of out of your wheelhouse, because it will capture your interest a little bit more. Even if you're not great at it, you have nothing to lose. You're not great at it. So I challenge you to challenge yourself to find something new and maybe report about it. Let us know how it went. If you've never been rowing, go rowing. If you've never been scuba diving or skiing or played tennis, just do something different to add to your repertoire. Don't die having done the same thing you eat the same meal every day, proverbially. Don't do that. Broaden your horizons and put a little bit on your plate and try it. So that's really my tip for the week. I want everyone to open your minds, broaden your horizons, expand yourself a little bit. You might be surprised at what you learn and who you encounter that's like-minded. And it doesn't have to just be in that arena. That could be that may lead to a business deal. It may lead to something, a lifelong ambition being fulfilled. So guys, just open up. Let's just open up. All right. And like I said, if you do something cool and you want us to know about it, let me know. Write in, do whatever. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to see some of y'all falling out of a raft, some shit like that. It'd be great. Tripping over the tennis net. Go ahead. Volleyball. I don't care. I love it all. So that's all I've got.
Hey, Roger.
That's all I've got.
Sorry, got to interrupt. We do have a caller.
It better be a damn caller this time. Interrupt me one more goddamn time today.
Hello, 904. You're on the line with CB and the boys. Do you have your first name?
All right, now I'm going to take my belt
904. I guess they're just wanting to listen as well.
All right, you're welcome. Don't interrupt me no damn more. Interrupt somebody else. Y'all know I'll be getting on the road. Fucking people call. Anyway, that's it. Love y'all. Keep it pushing.
Okay, so this is the thing, Roger, because, and I'm going to say something, and I'm going to speak for myself because I'm one who does that. And you talked about people that say, oh, I used to do this and I used to do that and it was 3 decades ago and all this thing. I think that is self-motivation for somebody like me that was athletic in school. And it's like, look, if I was athletic then, I could be athletic now because I still have that in me. I just got to get up and make it happen. It's like a little self-motivation thing that we do,
Okay. So
but the problem is when you go,
great.
It is, but the problem is when you go to do that thing, about halfway through it, you find out otherwise, like, ooh, you find out the difference in 3 days.
Not 15 anymore.
But here, let me stop you. So here's what a lot of us do. Those of us that are, in that middle age and on group, you can't just run out there and do anything. The problem is doing it properly. People do that all the time. You go play basketball, you didn't stretch, you didn't warm up, and now your ass is back sidelined again for 2 years, and you're never gonna play again because you got hurt.
Right.
Listen, I train almost 4 to 5 days a week. It's young people in there. I'll tell my professor, I'll tell all of my teammates, you guys can talk, you can do whatever. If I get there on time, cool. If I get there late, which I do, cool. I'm still going to warm up for 20 minutes because I'm not going to be sidelined by injury. And they know that about me. So go ahead and get started without me. I don't really care. To thine own self be true. I am not going to pull a muscle trying to jump in and do that. So to kind of go in on what George is saying, he's right. People going to get out there and be like, halfway through, you're going to drop. No, warm your old ass up for 20 minutes because Roger warms his old ass up every day for 15 to 20. And then when I feel loose, I get it. Listen, I'm like an 18-wheeler now. You know, I finally moved into that age group. I'm a big rig. It's going to take me about 20, 30 to warm up, but I'm going to go with you for a long time. Now, when I shut down, that's it. Don't turn me back on. But when I warm up, you know, you got action for a while. So we have to know ourselves. We're not that young.
I wake up in the morning and you know that stretch you do when you're in the bed. You're like, I do that and get cramps. I'm like, oh, shit.
Everything cracks.
God damn it.
Right.
You know.
But that's my point. But once you get your blood, your body, you remember how back in the old days, what your folks tell you? Go out there and warm that car up and let the oil get running through the engine, the parts. Your body's very much like that. Your blood flow starts here in the heart. Your heart pushes it out to your extremities. Well, if you need freshly oxygenated blood, you need to do a little bit to warm up and get that engine moving. And then in a few minutes, eventually what will happen is you will loosen up and you'll feel great. But in the beginning, you're stiff and all that good stuff because your body's taking care of your core. So think about that. Just arm rows. There's a lot of ways. Just warm up first. Warm up, and you'll be surprised at how good you do feel after you do anything, be it dance or, like I said, you know, tetherball or I don't know, hell, you know, we did all kind of crap growing up. You know, y'all pull a muscle playing dominoes now and shit. You know how your people are, George.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you say your back playing spades and shit? Yeah, you playing spades and fall out the chair. You know, you can't even go out. So anyway, but yeah, do something different. It'll be cool. But prove to yourself you can still do it. I know you can. This is still good. But get all this shit ready. Get all this together because this is all right.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
For sure.
And did you say exercise or extra fries? I'm sorry.
100. Well, so what you do is you play a little further each time. You eat a couple, you run back to your starting spot, and then you got to run a little further back to the fry. So see, you getting what you want while you get what you need.
Right.
Oh shit.
Full disclosure, I'm a pretty healthy guy, but French fries are kind of my weakness. So see, we laughing, but shit, I'm dead ass about that. I'm serious. I love French fries. So we learned something. I just don't eat them all the time.
I do.
So
I do. And my fries better be fresh every time I get them. There's a trick to that.
People kick you.
There's a trick to that.
No salt. Yeah, we know.
Exactly. Get them every time.
Check this out real quick. In less than 1 minute. Who's got the best fries?
Checkers.
Gate.
Checkers and McDonald's.
Gate.
Checkers and McDonald's.
Gate.
But no. I like
George, who's got the best fries?
100% no.
It depends on if you go to McDonald's on the first shift or the second shift. If you go on the first shift, if you go on the first shift, they got the best. If you go on the second shift, I probably have to go with Gates.
I just had Gates the other day. I like them, but they're nowhere near the best. I've had so many more companies that have just better tasting fries by a long shot. I mean, I don't dislike them.
I haven't had them in 8 years, and I need them back in my life. I've been trying to get them to open up a restaurant here in Arizona. They would make so much money here. And another one, a catfish place, Mad Jack's in Kansas City would make so much money here because we don't have authentic stuff here in Arizona. So man, they could come here and really, really make.
I hate to break your heart, but Mad Jack's closed.
Yeah, Mad Jack's gone, baby. They were good, but they gone.
When?
That pandemic, a motherfucker.
My dad loved
Pandemic's a motherfucker.
That was his spot.
Right. Yeah, well, yeah.
Was it when the pandemic hit that they closed down?
Actually, to be honest, I think they closed right before the pandemic. I think they closed before the pandemic. But yeah, they are giggity gone.
Now you know who gives you the most fries is a Red Robin. They just give
they give you stupid fries. I think they give no. Take that back. It's one place that gives you more fries than Red Robin. Five Guys. Yep, you knew. Five Guys. They give you stupid fries, and then they got the nerve. Then they got the nerve to have small or large on the menu.
Just say yeah,
like if you want fries, yes or no. It shouldn't be small or large. It should be yes or no, because
and half of the bag.
Because they give you stupid mad fries. I think they just be trying to get rid of fries before they go bad. I mean, you walk into the lobby, they got 500 pounds of potatoes just in the lobby. You know what I'm saying? They use that shit to guide the customers to the register. You know?
You want to start some shit real quick? You know whose food's overrated? Nasty fries and the burgers are just okay. In-N-Out. Now, whoever from California, fight me with it. Fight me on it.
In-N-Out is greasy.
Hey,
hey.
I think that you know what the thing is about In-N-Out? You know what the thing is about In-N-Out is they gonna give you. They got the most simplest menu on the planet.
Well, yeah.
You get a burger, a double cheeseburger, or a triple cheeseburger, and that's it. And some fries.
It's just fresh ingredients. That's their so-called claim to fame, is that they have, fresh, made that day, which I'll give them that. You see them make it and all that, and that's perfectly fine. But if you want to talk from a flavor or from that kind of a standpoint,
it's just a regular old cheeseburger. It's just a regular old cheeseburger.
Because as you guys know, I do, drive Uber and Lyft at times. So I took a passenger through the drive-thru at In-N-Out. And so we ordered our food, and then they asked us if it was to go. Marinate on that.
Aww.
Marinate on that.
Well, somebody
Me and my passenger looking at each other like, what?
I just said, nope, we're coming inside.
Working at the other register.
I would have said, nope, we're coming inside, and I would have went inside.
No, you turn your ignition off right there at the drive-thru window and eat your shit.
Right, exactly. The fuck you mean? To go? Oh, Lord.
It's like, make that make sense.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, these people forget, but you know what? That's just like when you're leaving, when you're flying out, and they go enjoy your trip, and you go, you too? Ah, shit. They're not going anywhere. It comes out really quickly sometimes. You know what I'm saying? It comes out really quickly. So
they're so used to asking that. Like, oh, you don't work to drive you very often, do you?
So you too. They're not eating. They're serving you the meal. Oh, damn, my bad. It's the natural response.
Right.
So it happens.
That's funny. I'd love to be there to see that.
Right. That's what you do. So you go, what? What just happened? Exactly.
It was.
I'd have cracked my window just a little bit and gave him a.
Talk about it. Mimi, I want to throw my shout out to my baby girl sis. I love you. Congrats. I know you can't talk too much about it, but yeah, go ahead, girl. I'm sure. Congrats on the engagements. I know you're gonna send us copies and all that.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
That's dope. Do your thing. So just shouting out. Listen, Mimi doing her thing behind the screen and in front too. So she got some good stuff coming. She don't want me to tell y'all, but I'm telling y'all anyway.
Well, when you get your first Oscar, just
Thank
say
you.
my name. That is like so cool. You know how like when people get their speech and then they name all these people that you have no clue who they are? Just do that for me. That would be so awesome.
Look, trust me, it'll be there. It'll be there. I'm working on that already because I already know I got to put it out into existence so y'all know.
You don't know them, about people. But anyway, my girl got something in the oven, so when it pops, we'll let y'all know. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, no doubt. Anyway,
so George, have we any business tips this week, George?
Actually, I do. I got a little different. Something a little bit different for us this week. Hang on 1 second here.
I expect you to start singing. Me. Don't go broke. Don't go broke.
1 second. To bring this up.
Don't get a double whopper.
Jingle bell, jingle all the way.
Okay.
While I do this, allow me to. Time for George's business tip of the week.
That boy's calm.
Yeah, baby.
Why do you look like you're running for mayor in that thing?
How to fund a startup.
Because I was.
The key to wooing venture capitalists, other than having a great idea and a promising industry, is to ask for money at the right time in a VC's life cycle. Here are the funding phases for a startup and how they correlate with a VC's life cycle. Phase 1, seed funding. Seed funding usually comes from you, the entrepreneur's bank account, angel investors, potentially mom and dad, or crowdfunding. Seed money allows you to solidify a talented team and a business plan, which is required when it comes time to talk to VCs. Right now, a company called Neptune is raising seed money through Kickstarter with plans to beat Apple, making a smartphone the size of a watch. Phase 2, round 1 of funding. VCs start when a group of people agree to put money in a pot and not see returns for 10 years. If the VC is worth $100 million, then in round 1, they will invest about 1/3 of the fund in a variety of companies. As an entrepreneur, this is when you want your business idea to be noticed and funded. Square Trade Inc., a startup offering warranties for your tech gadgets, recently disclosed receiving $238 million in round 1 from 11 different funds. Phase 3, round 2 of funding. Provided your business is doing well, you may receive a second round of funding after 3 years. At this point in the VC's life cycle, the firm will look at their investments, weed out the ones that went belly up, and invest more in companies doing well. PhotoBucket recently went in for an additional, and they claim last, round of funding from VCs for somewhere between 5 and 10 million. Phase 4, expansion. Now your startup is 3 to 5 years old and hopefully close to turning a profit on its own. At this time, funding will come from subordinated debt or preferred equity. This is the expansion phase. Twitter appears to be in phase 4. After receiving $15 million in 2008, it's waiting to IPO until it can earn steady profits for an entire year. This growth money doesn't come from VCs, but helps startups push past the funded phase into the next level, which is phase 5, IPO or sale. By now, your startup is 5 to 10 years old. You've either made it or folded. Now the venture capitalists are ready for their payday when you sell or go public. Most VC firms enjoy a 700% return on their investment in companies which go public. However, many of their investments won't make it to phase 5.
Well, damn.
And there we have it. So if you are, there's another 2 minutes to that video that is really interesting. It hits on that a little bit more, but if you want to see that, if you want to see that video in its entirety, just go to YouTube and Google and type in how to fund a startup. The 5 phases of funding a startup.
Okay. That's cool. I didn't realize there were 5 phases. I knew about 3, so I just learned something myself. That's pretty interesting because that 5 to 10 year phase is a big to do, and a lot of people don't make it because I think people have a tendency, especially when you don't understand money, people have a tendency to say, hey, I'm going to give you, $2,000, which is a lot to some people. And then they want you to give them $20,000 in like maybe 12 months. Not realistic at all. So people that truly understand money and make a living and make of doing this, understand, you know what, I'm doing a primary investment year one. It's going to take a decade. But when that hits, like she said, a 700% increase in your initial investment. Imagine what that would do. Let's say you gave someone $1 million. You're almost a billionaire. If you look at a company like a Twitter or something like that. A lot of companies don't do that. And it's called high risk, high reward for a reason. It's interesting how once you get involved in that, your whole stress level and nerves and all that, it goes into Jedi level, because you're watching, you can potentially watch thousands or more walk away. So I think that's interesting. And just, can I just say, I don't know who that young lady is, but she has some damn fine handwriting and printing. I was impressed. Wasn't that beautiful? I was impressed. She's got to be an artist. She's got to be an artist, because
it was photoshopped.
My brother's an artist, my daughter's an artist, and the way that they print and do things a certain way, because her actually,
you know what it was?
Her penmanship.
You know what it was?
Yeah,
she got a calligraphy set from Little.
Maybe,
awesome.
But I mean, I was actually impressed by that as much as the presentation. I'm like, damn, she's got everything on a line and no lines. Like, she used the hell out of her big cheap tablet when she was a kid, because her shit was fire. I was like, man, y'all know about
she utilized everything. There was no space on that board when she was done. She was just like, I mean, this. 5 pages.
She handled it. I let her make me a
you know, the part that I want to know is how fast could she really do that? How long did it actually take her to do that without speeding it up? You know what I mean?
Oh, it probably took her a while. I mean, she was good though. She was good. Anyway, that's what's up though. That's if people actually go back and study that, they'll really start to find a lot of valuable information. But again, what I learned about a lot of people that aren't used to dealing with money is playing long ball isn't really in the cards, because most middle class or lower middle or whatever don't have the luxury of playing long ball, like investing and things like that. It's long ball, and when you don't have that kind of expendable income, it makes it difficult to say, okay, I'm just going to stash
excellent.
10 grand, 20 grand, over here. So
it's funny. It's funny you would say that. It's actually, I'm gonna go ahead and show about 3 or 4 minutes of this video, because it touches, he talks about people not being able to play long ball.
That's funny. That is funny.
Yeah.
What if I started a new business today? How would I approach it? Let's just imagine this scenario. Slidebeam, the presentation platform that I started in 2014, disappears today. Kind of like the leftovers. Okay, so our AI design system disappears, our SEO, our users, our revenue, and our team, and this YouTube channel. In this alternative universe, I'm left with my personal YouTube channel, which is still tiny, but you can follow me, of course. Last paycheck. Plus, I'm the only person in the world that remembers Slidebeam ever existed, which means I have no credibility as a founder. All I have left is my experience. So how do I start a new business? Step one, the business idea. Let's talk about the business idea first. I firmly believe you should only start a business around something you know how to do, an industry you're familiar with, where you've worked for a while. I have a good knowledge of the startup ecosystem, though remember, nobody knows who I am anymore. I have some design knowledge, I have video editing and digital animation. My new business should probably be connected to one of those skills and one of those markets. Perhaps an AI-assisted video editing platform, though that already exists. Maybe a pitch deck design and writing service for startups, but Slidebeam already does that. Or did. Anyway, the challenge here is, once again, credibility. When we started that line of business, we already had a brand. People knew Slidebean, so they weren't giving their slides to a stranger. It was this cool company, Slidebean, and a venture-funded startup. These guys must know what they're doing to raise money, right? Without that background, I like to think it would be a lot harder to compete. So lessons learned here. Don't just build the first thing that comes to mind. Find a market niche. Find something where you and your experience can stand out. Also, the motivation to start a business shouldn't be, I want to start a business, or I'm out of a job, let me start a new company. In this scenario, I haven't lost my savings, but my savings would only last for a few months. So no, I would not go to start a business right away. I'd get a day job. So scratch step one and change that to get a day job. Make sure you don't have the pressure of running out of money and not being able to afford rent. It'll put you in a much better position for anything you set out to do. Ideally, this should be a day job that gives you some flexibility. If you're tied to a desk 9 to 5, it's going to be hard to get anything else done. New step two, find a business idea. So we already talked about that. But let's say that this new business is going to be called Design Inc. because it's a bold and simple name. Step 3, the co-founder. I firmly believe you need a co-founder. I doubt I would start a new company by myself. Well, I can do some basic coding. I wouldn't have time to code and grow and sell the business. So I'd need a new co-founder for that. Since my Slidebean co-founders have disappeared and nobody knows that I know a thing or two about startups, I have to start with my immediate contact network. So I'd reach out to friends who I know that have some of the skills and knowledge in the area. I double down on my involvement in the local startup scene, attend meetups, go to events, non-conferences. I made a video about that. Finding a co-founder is hard. I made a video about that. They should be in a similar position as you, age, day job, and they should be excited about the idea enough to commit to it. We should date a bit. Perhaps, hack a secondary project together first before, going all in. The pressure of not needing money is excellent. We don't need to rush things. Step 4, kickoff. So I would aim at developing an MVP of the platform. But before doing that, we should agree on company terms, shared distribution, and so on. You can also find a video about that here. An MVP doesn't have to be an app. When we started Slidebean, our first MVP was a concept video explaining how this platform that didn't exist yet work and that doesn't exist anymore. People bought into it, hit our sign up button, and joined our fake waiting list. The MVP for my previous company was a Kickstarter campaign. It proved that people wanted this product. So yeah, that is a cheap MVP. You can do it in a couple of weeks. After we validate that, we can start doing some coding. If my co-founder is working on the product, I would work on the website and the social proof. SEO, for example, takes a lot of time. So since we're starting from scratch, we should aim at filling up a blog with some content as early as possible. Maybe some prod hunts and Reddit posts to see how people react to the concept. And then I will launch this as soon as possible and as soon as it's usable. Call it alpha, beta, whatever. Just get it in front of people. We are looking at 15-hour workdays here. 8 hours at my day job, 7 hours in this new company. That's really the way it has to be. Step 5, traction and de-risking. So I've always said you need traction to raise money. Traction meaning business de-risking, confirming that the business is worth something. So of course, I would want to de-risk this business as soon as possible to find out if it's worth quitting my day job for it and using up my savings to be able to work 100% of the time into this business. Most of us can't afford to live for 3 years on savings. So it's a real life bet to do this. And it gets harder as you get older, of course. So I would like to see a few thousands of dollars in revenue, or a growing trend of thousands of users. It depends on the business, of course. And then step 6, seek funding. If this idea is a tech startup, then I would look for investor capital. Yes, I draw a line between tech startups and traditional businesses, for which we also have a video. So make sure you know what you're getting into. I would say I can write and design a decent pitch deck, but if you can't, you can always go and get help from someone like Slidebean, which of course doesn't exist in this universe. I navigate my network to approach investors, so LinkedIn first, AngelList later. This great pitch deck that I wrote with a fresh product with significant growth should get me through the door for a few investors. Now, don't forget about startup accelerators. I did my fair share of programs, and I don't think there's a lot more that I could learn today, but what they do offer is initial funding and a vast network of investors. For a company this stage, with this amount of traction, you could look at something in the 500 startups, Dream It, or Y Combinator level. Smaller accelerators typically take idea stage companies, but we already built that traction ourselves. What comes next? Well, that really depends on the business, but I hope this is enough to shed some light on the approach that I would take.
Man.
There you have it.
What he said.
That's a lot. Yeah.
It is, that's cool because it is a lot. It's a lot of work I've learned from a lot of people. You see a lot of people around you. When it comes to starting up, wing of the prayer, they say, you have to be passionate, but you have to not expect gain or growth. You have to expect to be in the red for 3 to 5 years. You have to be prepared to work.
Yeah.
3 years worth of work in the first year. It's your baby. It's your product. It's your company. Yep. And I don't think people realize that. Yep. They think they're going to just jump in and be a millionaire and net $1 million the first year. And it's like, I don't care how good the idea is. It just doesn't go like that. 90% of startups fold in 3 years. So if you make it beyond that, whoever you are, whatever you do, you're a rare bird and you're a boss, So that's really, really great. That's really great. But there's good info, and then there's a lot of information out there. So people, just look it up, do your research, due diligence.
Right. CB, we got the movies?
Yes. No.
We're going to jump right into our topic. We're over. So we have to stay on track, guys. So here we go.
Alrighty.
While we are waiting to queue up Counselor Michelle's video for this week, we're going to play a song. So here we go.
It's the second.
It's one by our favorite friend of our show, our brother Amun Ra, and Remember Me. Here we go.
I be wishing I can call and you be ready for it. No permission, not at all to be as bad as you are. So that nigga take a picture, it'll last long. I'm just trying to leave it with you for the last song. Yeah. I just had to pull up in the map like shorty act that he ain't never getting that back. Started on the beat with the tap, now she on the knees in the trap, giving catch that. Yeah, pulled up, top off. I don't want shorty to take a top off. Ass feel, but it is knock out. Shit popped off and she got dropped off. Shoes off, socks off, penthouse, top off, bend down, drop down, bend down, drop down. You don't know what to do with her. You can just give it to me. Ain't like the niggas you need. Girl, you gonna remember me. You keep that screaming that day. Bring it to a memory. Girl, you gonna remember me. Girl, you gonna remember me. All we can, keep it all the weekend. Let's be friends, girl, you gonna remember me. Freaking, going off the deep end. Even need to pretend, girl, you gonna remember me. Now she's chillin' with her knees up. Ask about a message, get amnesia. She said she don't fucking need ya. Same way I feel about a teacher. We out the country on the beat. She wear red bottoms, no sneakers. I try to tell her we the way. She ain't believe me, not easy. I know you've been afraid, cause you got dude in the way, yeah. Hold up, top off. I don't want straight to the top off. I feel but it is knock out. Shit popped off and she got dropped off, yeah. Shoes off, socks. Bend down, drop down, bend down, drop down. You don't know what to do with her. You can just give her to me. Ain't like the niggas you need. Girl, you gonna remember me. You keep that cool man that day. Bring it to a memory. Girl, you gonna remember me. Girl, you gonna remember me. All we can, keep it all the weekend. Let's be friends, girl, you gonna remember me. Freaking, going off the deep end. Ain't need to pretend, girl, you gonna remember me. I see you on top. Rolling around, showing off. Looking back and you're talking magic. Girl, you gon' remember me. You don't know what to do with her. You can just give her to me. Ain't like them niggas you need now. Girl, you gon' remember me. You keep that cool energy. Bring it to a memory. Girl, you gon' remember me. Girl, you gon' remember me. All we can, keep it all the weekend. Let's deep end, girl, you're gonna remember me. Pretend, going off the deep end. You don't need to pretend, girl, you're gonna remember me.
All right, that was Amara and Remember Me. So up next we have Counselor Michelle, and what our topic is tonight, guys, is about cults. So before we play Michelle's video, I just wanted to give the definition of what a cult is pertaining to the Google Dictionary. So a cult is a system of religious veneration and devotion directed toward a particular figure or object. For example, the cult of St. Olaf, for example. Cults are usually illegitimate and secretive. Through coercive persuasion, cults join like to some degree. That's a perfect way to sort out problems is through joining a cult. So when it comes to respecting, cults are vilified almost universally, except by their members. So what is the difference in a cult and culture? Loss of choice and free will. So in a cult, you really don't have a choice and you don't have your free will because you've been brainwashed. Diminished intellectual ability, vocabulary, and sense of humor. Reduced use of irony, abstractions, and metaphors. Reduced capacity to form flexible and intimate relationships. Poor judgment. Members may become poor as the cult siphons off their wealth. Physical deterioration and malnutrition for some, and mind manipulation. So the traits of a cult are, basically it's referred to as an organized group or solitary person whose purpose is to dominate over cult members through psychological manipulation and pressure strategies. Number one, some individuals who join cults remain lifelong members. Others break free and share how it felt to be brainwashed by a charismatic leader, which we're going to talk about that. So definitely it's mind over matter for sure. And according to the Webster's Dictionary, the meaning of cult is a religion regarded as unorthodox or spurious. Also is its body, sorry, my contacts are blurring over. Its body of inherent hope to use cult in a sentence. The overlap of cult and culture. All right, so we'll hear what Counselor Michelle has to say about that, and then we will continue the conversation. All right?
Good evening, everybody. Counselor Michelle Brockle here. I want to thank CB and the BOYZ for allowing me to have the opportunity to chime in on the hot topic of why so many people want to be sheep. Well, in my personal opinion, the most simplistic reason, it's easy. It's easy to be a sheep. You don't have to think. You don't have to have an opinion. You can just follow what everybody else is doing. That is the number one reason why a person would want to be a sheep. Because they're lazy. I mean, you think about it. We are all, at some point in time in our lives, sheep. Because whatever we're taught, whether it's politics, culture, opinions, whatever, it is presented to us by somebody else, and if it sounds good enough to us, most of the time we just go with it. I mean, social media is a prime example of this. People believe pretty much anything they see on social media now, and even though it's been verified that social media has a lot of quote-unquote fake news, we still tend to believe it. How many celebrities have had to disprove that they're really alive, even though it's been said that they were dead? Politics is a big thing when it comes to people being sheep. There's this way or that way. And a politician will sit there and gather information, not necessarily factual, to build a platform, build a foundation, and then all they have to do is make it sound good. As long as it makes sense, it's good enough. And we as a human species tend to be a creature of curiosity. We want to know why something happens, why someone feels the way they do, why things are going on in the world that they are. And it takes more out of a person to actually have to research it and look up information. Whereas if they just follow somebody else who's already supposedly done the research and gathered the information, then hey, why should we have to do that? So the short end of it, in my professional opinion, is that so many people want to be sheep because it's easy. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to do any extra homework or anything. Just, well, this person said this. There's been statistics done, and sounds good. So why should I question it? Which can be the most destructive, most debilitating thing that we can do, not only for ourselves individually, but as a country, as a group, as a people, to sit there and just be so complacent and okay with just following whatever is the norm for that moment, or whatever most everybody else believes is a popular opinion. That can be so bad when it comes to us as a people, because so much misinformation is out there, and it's a lot of times used to divide us. So being a sheep just makes it even worse. So what does a herder do when they're herding their sheep? They separate them. They make sure that they are in a group and that nothing else is intrusive or comes in to that herd. And it's basically the same concept, that people will put an idea or an opinion or a group out there, and then what they'll do is they'll make sure that anybody who might question their views or their morals or whatever their opinion may be, they'll block that. So they'll make sure that everybody consistently believes the same thing, and nobody questions it. That's why we have to ensure as people that we use our mind to question things, to do our research, to make sure that we're not okay with being sheep. Now, don't get me wrong. There can be some instances where being a sheep is not all that bad. Like when you're with a group of friends and y'all are trying to figure out what you want to do or where you want to go for a trip or an adventure. And yeah, be a sheep. Then you don't have to be the one to make the plans. Let somebody else figure it out. But when it comes to important topics or important things like human rights, civil rights, we should never, ever want to be a sheep. And we should encourage anybody who's just kind of floating through life as following this person or that person to don't just do it because it's easy. If you truly believe that, then that's fine. But don't be that person that's just, sounds good to me, it's good enough. Too many people want to be sheep because it's easy. Too many people want to be sheep because they're lazy. And we are too intelligent of a people of the species to just being like, oh, that sounds good, so let's just do that.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you guys think about that? It's a lot to unpack, I know.
I would. Hey, we need a clip. We need a clip of Jim Brewer doing that. Boy, he does a Go Boy so well. Interesting. Well, I would venture to say most people are going to have a similar ideology and thought process, no matter how they describe it. But there's a difference between saying and doing it. Look, the vast majority of people's words and actions don't match up. They just don't. It's really, really easy to talk a good game and then not back it up because that's what you're doing. You're talking. You know, as a matter of fact, I think it's funny. We're talking about being sheep, and then you know what it's called when you do a bunch of talking. Don't do it. It's called wolfing, selling wolf tickets. So who comes for the sheep? The wolf. So a lot of people sell wolf tickets and then don't back the shit up or can't back it up. You're just acting and reacting. So, I mean, CB, let's do this. Go ahead. Like, so the topic is, and I want you to introduce your topic formally about the whole being sheep thing. But yeah, we definitely need to kind of break down from a religion, cult, sheep standpoint. So by all means, could you please kick this off, open it up? You know, you just read the definition of a cult, which was great. That was a lot of that. I read some as well, but you even had a couple in there that I didn't see. So that's good because I want to put that with mine, but I want to know, based on what you read and what you think, when you speak, you know, what separates a cult from like other groups? Because there are lots of groups. There are a lot of people that get together and practice. What, in your mind, what separates?
Started as an effort by charismatic.
Yeah, that's not it. But anyway, break it down for us real quick.
Well, basically, in my opinion, when you think of cults, you think of the ones that have done irreparable damage, where people end up with PTSD after being a part of that group. There are different groups, there are different organizations, but a cult is something that on a whole other level, where they worship one person. They put that person way up on the pedestal, and they will do whatever that person tells them to do. A good example, and we're going to talk about these people next week, but the Manson family, that was a cult. Helter Skelter, everyone knows that story. And unfortunately, it's a true story. And but those people, and some of those people still follow him to this day, which is insane. It makes no sense. And then there are cults today. Nexium was the latest one that this guy messed up. And then he still has followers that are willing to follow him, even though this guy got sentenced to all these years in prison. I think 120 years in prison. So it's crazy. Warren Jeffs would be another one where he feels it's okay to marry a 12-year-old, whether she wants to marry him or not. And his followers keep his rules. Any restrictions that he puts down, they follow, no matter what. So, you know, the Jamestown massacre, and we do have footage on that. And we also have footage on the Nexium so that everyone can see what I'm talking about and, well, hear for our listeners. But it's scary because these cults and these organizations are still running today. Even if they got, you know, raided by the FBI, these followers are still following the teachings of their cult leader. They're still down for him. A good one would be what you see with the former president, Donald Trump, which I call Cult 45, because these people will follow him no matter what. And it's just so ridiculous that they are still of that mindset. It just makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. So, and for me, it's scary that these people exist. And then, I think for a lot of people, when they think about a cult, they think Satanism, and that is satanic and it's evil. Well, when a cult is first created, it's not created for a malicious reason. These people really believe that they're doing good. They really believe that they're helping people, but they're not. They siphon off all of their wealth. So, like with NXIVM, they had to pay all this stuff. With Church of Scientology, they have to pay all this money. And it's crazy when you see, with even churches, where you see a pastor driving a Rolls Royce and he's got homeless people in his congregation. Like, make that make sense? And yet they still continue to shower the pastor with gifts while they have people in the congregation that are suffering, from poverty, being poor, not having a home. I mean, there's so many things. Yet the pastor's driving a Rolls Royce. The pastor lives in a 5-bedroom home. Pastor's wife is draped in diamonds and furs, and they look, like Hollywood couple, but their congregation looks like, rags from riches. Like, serious.
So I have a question. Do you think? So, and that was you kind of led into what I was going to say. So it almost appears, because in my opinion, I agree that any faction can start out one way and take on a cult-like following. You've heard that term, cult-like following, and I was going to say that next. In my opinion, if you want my honest opinion, I think organized religion is the biggest cult. But because everybody here and everybody we know has been raised to be of a particular,
denomination,
of a particular background, whether you be denomination. Thank you. Whether you be Roman Catholic, whether you be Muslim, whether you be whatever. I was going to say probably the biggest travesty, the biggest, cult-like slaying of the Crusades. Let's just go the Crusades. That was, the Roman Catholic churches. That was their attempt at, reclaiming the Holy Land between the 11th and 13th centuries. They killed more people than the Holocaust and damn near slavery. But we don't talk about that because the vast majority of this country is of some type of Christianity. Now, the Muslim faith is actually the largest faith on the planet, but in this country, it's not. So once again, there are different practices. We look at, you were mentioning, the financial aspect. Where does it stop? Does it stop at 10%, 20%? We call that tithing. So cult leaders call it, hey, sacrificing, for the greater good. Where's the balance here? What makes one a cult? And other than, mass suicide and things like that, because usually we attribute the cult we give that status to, violence or, mass suicide or something like that. But otherwise, when you look at practices, they're all pretty damn similar. Everybody, look, if you know someone who's Jehovah's Witness, they look at Catholics like, man, they're the crazy ones. If you know someone who's Mormon, they look at Presbyterians like they're the wacky ones. Everyone thinks their respective group. Look, George is in a motorcycle club. Clearly, if I say, gee, what's the greatest bike club in Kansas City? He's biased as hell. It's his. Even though there are 11 clubs in KC, he's biased. Same thing. If you were raised Jehovah's Witness, Catholic, Christian, Presbyterian, Seventh-day Adventist, any of that. So I think, and I think the interesting thing is the vast majority of people probably need to follow a leader of some type. They do. Most people aren't field generals. Most people aren't decision makers. They're not, they're not these people that can take the helm and create change. That's just not what most people do. Why do you think there's only one queen in every damn, bee colony? There's one queen, few drones, bunch of workers. That's exactly how the human race is. And so
but the thing is, everybody as humans, it is human nature to want to belong to something. Even, when we're born into a family. Most of us, we're born into a family. We didn't choose it. It just happens. We're born into this particular family. Sometimes you fit in with your family. Sometimes you don't. So you search for where you belong. Like when you start a new school, you search for someone that got your same ideas. Some people, like, say, for example, you like to play Call of Duty. So you search for people who also like to play Call of Duty. There's your icebreaker right there. That's what brings you in. That's what connects you. And we all need that connection, whether it be, our personal connection, whether it be in business, which is why people hold networking events, because you have like-minded people coming together to support one another, to learn about each other's businesses. So everyone needs that connection. Humans, we can't exist without connection, without connecting to something, connecting to someone. We all need someone to talk to. We can't talk to ourselves.
There are hermits. There are people that like to be alone. I mean, they're all over the place. I get what you're saying. You're 100% correct. You can't pick your family and things like that. There's a connection. But there's also a point when you say, okay, everybody's mama here, raise your hand if your mama ever said, if so-and-so jumped off a bridge, would you jump? Okay, that's every fucking body here. The point that is saying, you get to a certain point where you have to be able to think for yourself as well. Like at anybody's age here, if George tells me that he committed a crime because his homeboy did, and he was like, man, you got to come with me, I'd punch him in his nose, because I'd be like, dude, you're too old to be following someone when you know what the outcome is going to be. Just like I would expect him to do the same thing to me. You need to be slapped. If you go, well, he did it, I mean, I should be punched just because I even thought that. I get it to a certain point. But here's what I say, and this is just my view. Because again, we're all from a very similar background. So coming up the same way, whether it was Big Mama, Gan, Paw, whoever, we all follow the same setup, which is, believe it or not, when I say it throws people, it was very much an intended slave set. Like a lot of Christianity, a lot of what we were taught was to keep slaves and subservient people in line. That's not the original document. That's rewritten. That King James version that people look at, that's been doctored, baby. That's been touched. And I can't even speak about the other books. That being said, I tell people all the time, at my age, I don't need a leader. I don't need a father. I love learning, and anyone who's better than I am in something, I want to learn from that person, whatever it is I'm interested in. But as far as telling me how to live my life and be, I don't need anybody to tell me how to be a man. I don't need anyone to tell me how to be a father or to be a provider. I'm beyond that. So I do think that it's interesting that there are people that make it very far in life and decide, I want to follow these people and just be, like you said, be a sheep and just be absolute this person. That blows my mind. I mean, I don't care. I love my best friend. I love my brother and I love my sisters. But if they're doing something I'm not down with and don't agree, guess who's going to be like, hey, catch you guys later on, maybe if you make it back, but I'm not going. But I think we are free thinkers. We're independent. And I think a lot of people like to think they are, but a lot of people are not, clearly proven by the cults that you mentioned and things like that. I just find it interesting that there's got to be some type of, like you said, longing or maybe desire to fit in because of what happened. All trauma comes from childhood. So if you didn't belong, if you didn't fit in, if you were teased, all trauma, every one of us, however you developed, it happened because of what happened in your childhood, every one of us. So I do find it interesting. It's hard for me to relate and understand because I got my ass kicked for being a follower when it didn't go well. You go home and listen, that's a beat down you don't want to take. You can go home and tell your mom you did anything except you did something that another kid told you to do. That is a beat down your ass does not want to have replicated. So I think we take that a lot more seriously. So it's very wild to realize that, you know what, if you make something attractive though, I may check out what you're doing though. If CB develops a cult, I mean, or a following, we'll call it a following because everybody wants to, wear their eyeshadow like you do or wear their glasses like you do and take your route to work and you make it look appealing, you're going to have followers. Now, how far they're willing to go kind of depends on, you know, the nature of people's how their mind works. And there's some wackadoo ass people out there, so you know they may want to be you, dress like you, be you.
But we have some footage of the latest cult that got exposed, and this is NXIVM, which the cult leader was Keith Raniere, and actually he still is the cult leader. So here is that footage.
I'm an interesting person, I'm a controversial person, but most importantly, I'm an unconventional person. And in some cases, when conventional solutions don't work, maybe the unconventional way of thinking does.
NXIVM leader Keith Raniere has been sentenced to 120 years behind bars and a $1.72 million US fine for running a twisted sex slave cult. NXIVM was founded by Raniere and Nancy Saltzman in 1998 under the guise of being a self-help group. However, it had a different, more nefarious intent.
It's an amazing idea. Yes, well, sometimes it even amazes me. I've had people killed because of my beliefs, and I'm leading an organization that's doing something very good.
Inside NXIVM was an exclusive inner sanctum called DOS, or The Vow. This group effectively recruited women who Raniere characterized as prey, who were then branded and forced into sexual slavery.
And as you are, is of course some of your whole past. So when someone's being authentic, you get the feeling that not only that there's a person there in the moment, but somehow you reach into their very essence and you meet a unique individual.
I don't know why, that makes me want to cry. It's beautiful.
Several members of Hollywood became involved with the cult, most notably former Smallville star Allison Mack, who became an enthusiastic evangelist and recruiter for the cult.
Very shortly into the program, I started to recognize and experience that what I was looking for wasn't about a relationship. What I was looking for was about an experience of myself in my life.
In March 2018, Raniere was arrested and indicted on a variety of charges, including sex trafficking and conspiracy to commit forced labor. Several more arrests followed on similar charges for other key members, including Mack and Saltzman. Raniere originally had faced as little as 15 years in prison. However, due to his lack of remorse for his crimes, the federal court ensured he would be put away for life.
Yes, I am innocent. There is a horrible injustice here, and whether you think I'm the devil or not, the justice process has to be examined.
So there you have it. And it's crazy because
that's just wow. Yeah,
they lured a lot of people in. India Oxenberg, who is the daughter of Catherine Oxenberg, the actress, and she's also a royal as well. So it's crazy how people fell for all of that. And like they said, it started as a self-help group.
I'm an interest.
And many people sign up for self-help groups because there's something lacking in their lives, within them. So they're looking for, other avenues to explore, to find themselves. As you heard Allison say, she was searching for something, an experience within her life. Well, she got it, and she also got 3 years in jail for her part because India was one of her slaves. And India was talking about Keith would text her and tell her to take a picture of her genitals and send it to him. And she would have to basically stop whatever she was doing, take a picture of her genitals and send it to him. And she did.
So that's different. That's different from anybody today. How? I mean, what's interesting? I mean, it's true. It's true.
Sexting.
Look,
They were sexting.
Only fans. What? I didn't hear you. But so here's what's crazy. And if somebody hears it and they want to chime in, let them. How is any of this different from, let's say, the Catholic Church, which is clearly the most scandalous religion out there? I mean, I'm just curious. to know what y'all think. Now, I know what I think has to do with money. Do you know how huge and rich you have to be to avoid these types of I think size matters. I think money matters. I think influence matters, because rest assured, these people have only been around for several decades. You can go back to the 60s. The Catholic Church has been fucking little boys for fucking centuries. Now let's just call it a spade. And I'm not just blaming them, because trust me, it's a lot of our guys, a lot of our mega church preachers and cats coming out of the, especially coming out of the South, that are doing all kind of crazy shit. Let's talk about it. These brothers are doing, like you were talking about, driving the Maseratis and Lambos and things like that, having a 16-year-old lover. So why isn't it a cult following? Probably because you've got enough freedom of choice within these churches to have, naysayers and whisperers behind the ear, but nobody steps up and says shit. So does that make that? So in our opinion, is it labeled a cult only because everybody's in agreement, or nobody speaks out? Because even in cults, you don't have 100% agreement. It's just people that are too afraid to speak out.
Yeah,
I personally
they might come up missing.
Yeah, I personally know people that get involved in things like this and these sex scandals and all that, and almost gone to prison and almost had things done, or at least to their fear. And it was just pastor, reverend, deacon, whoever was utilizing their position and power, and they got over it. There may not have been as much publicity or money involved, but the exact same shit happened. And it wasn't called a church. It wasn't called a cult. It was called, First Baptist Macedonia up on the Rock Hill, First Christian. Bullshit. Same shit was happening. And that's what cracked me up. Like, you can call any organization a cult if you want. Literally, I can find fault in every single religion, every single organization.
But you nailed it when you said that they feed on fear. That is what draws people in.
Yes.
They scare the hell out of you, telling you this is going to happen. If you don't do that, you don't want that to happen. So you're going to follow through and do whatever they tell you need to do.
So who here in this group? Who here in this group wasn't told that if you did so and so, you go to hell? Raise your hand if you were never told that. I didn't fucking think so. Same thing. Same thing. And the point that I'm making is, everybody here is going to hell for something, which means heaven gonna be empty as hell. Heaven gonna be packed. Niggas gonna be trying to bus stop, and do the wobble, because quite frankly, there's nobody who can walk perfectly white, pure, snow white through any gate or judgment day without having committed some type of transgression. But like you said, fear. I think we all agree fear is the number one tool used. But I also believe that in every one of these, you can go back in history, whether it be a leader, whether it be, you can go from Julius Caesar to Hitler to anybody. Listen, charismatic speakers always have a way of pulling in huge flocks, huge herds. You don't have to like them. They can be ugly. They can be they can be crazy. They can not be literate. But if you're somehow a charismatic speaker, if you're one hell of an orator, you will hypnotize people into following you. It is a known fact. Now, if you happen to have shit, if you sound like Barry White and look like Billy D and shit, can talk like Denzel and shit, if you mess around and rule the world up in this hole. But it's the truth. These things all come together at the right time. This is why this gentleman here, this is why David Koresh, this is why all of these guys got so many followers. This is why, Hitler, Julius Caesar, this is why freaking all these Catholic priests, this is why all of these Baptist ministers.
It's all fear.
They're charismatic.
The core of white supremacy is fear. The fear of the white man being wiped out by the minorities. That's the core of white supremacy.
Sure. But that's their group. That's their group. And so you find like-minded people.
Of the Germans, of the Jews.
If you find like-minded people, you can create a group of anything. If you go, if I go, listen, I'm afraid that society is getting to be too tall. I'm gonna go start smoking everybody who's over 6'3". If one of y'all feels like, you know what, I'm tired of people having long eyelashes, I'm gonna kill all these people who ain't got. You can create a group and the support. You can get support across the globe for anything. Extra toes, shit, you know, a third eye on your head, an extra nipple. You can get support for anything. And if you ascend to the top of that group, people will follow you because you have a common cause. You are 100% right. Fear mongering is real, and that is the basis. You're right. And so it's really interestingly what I read the other day, because like I said, CB read some stuff. You read some hella definitions. I was like, damn. The one I read said, you know what? Most quote unquote cults are Christianity based. Believe it or not. So what that means is they utilize the Jesus route. They take that theological route and use it to their advantage. The same way slave masters only let slaves see certain parts of the Bible that talked about who should be subservient to who and whose skin tone and all this bullshit. Same thing with the cultish beginnings. They will deliberately look at, you know, and as much as I don't like to get into politics, I hate the politics, you know, route. But when we talk about Trump deliberately went into recruiting undereducated, heavily religious people. Now, he's by no means religious, but you use whatever tool you can. And he used the Bible, even though that dumb motherfucker probably can't read it. And he utilized a lot of things in there to get you stir people up based on their emotions and beliefs. Most people that don't have a lot of post-secondary education do have a lot of religion. Look at the two, they correlate. The more educated you become, the less you rely on because I said so and because God wanted it that way. That's just what education does. It opens your eyes. So you go for the people that are in the hills of in Arkansas, Alabama, Kentucky, and you say, Jesus said you better do X, Y, Z, and they will follow you religiously. They will follow you and they will trust you implicitly. They will do whatever you want. And that's how people begin these particular followings, because you somehow find a way to make yourself relatable to their cause. And so it's interesting because, you know, guess what? We've all been taught the same things, a lot of the same things. But as we got older, we kind of cherry picked from that what we would and said, you know what, this kind of serves me, this kind of doesn't, this makes sense, this doesn't. So technically, you know, we've all done it. We've all done it at some point. And it's not, it doesn't make you a bad person. It just means, you know what, this got me through to this age. But now that I'm this age, I go, I live by this, or that doesn't jive by me. You know what I say all the time? One of the things I say all the time, even if people aren't religious, even if they're not, you know what everybody likes to believe in? Fucking karma. Why is that? You know, karma is kind of an Asian faith base. Everybody wants to believe that you'll get yours because exactly. And it's like, why? Karma came from, like, I don't want to lie and say Taoist or Buddha, but it came from, you know, it's Asian culture. It's their part of their religion. Why do you believe that if you don't believe anything else? Any differently than you believe if I eat bacon, I'm going to hell, but your stupid ass gets to marry 2 or 3 people, or you have to turn 5 different ways. Or, you know what I'm saying? I don't shit on anybody's belief if it gets you through, but why would you condemn someone else if it helps them? It's only when it gets to the point where you go, hey, if we get together collectively and our intent is to do destruction, then it becomes a problem. And I think that's kind of what makes things carry over. You know, the only destruction some of these religions do is, unfortunately, they damage people from the inside out. And that's damn near worse than, you know, mass murdering and shooting. You ruin somebody's whole life by taking their innocence, their virginity, and all kind of shit like that. I think they should be treated just as badly as the serial killers and as the cult leaders, but they won't because they have too much money and influence. But I think they should be done exactly the same, if not worse. You know, religion, cult, shit, they're 2 sides of the same coin, in my opinion. But it's what works for you or doesn't work for you. That's why I'm not Rastafarian, or that's why you're not Muslim, or that's why I am Christian, or you are Catholic, or he's Presbyterian. If it works for you, good, God bless. But it's interesting how we pass judgment on anybody who doesn't think like we do. Crazy.
Yeah, that's why when because I was raised Catholic, and when my mom put me out, she put me out, and I left Catholic. Like I didn't want shit to do with that church and everybody in it.
I'm gonna say something, and this is gonna be funny, but it's gonna be fucked up. I know. No, listen. I know more people who are non-practicing Catholics than anybody in the damn world. I know some people that are, I was raised Catholic. Are you practicing now? No. What the fuck? I know more non, and I'm making fun of you, but look, I've heard that from friends of mine. I've heard that from people I grew up with. Like, for some odd reason, they get to a certain point, they go, yeah, I kind of hung that up for a little bit. Like, once you get out of it, it's rough. It's rough, isn't it?
I hung it up all together. And I knew that this is it. Look, I talk to my Father God. I read my Bible. I get into my little spiritual realm. I talk to the universe. I keep it pushing.com. Done. When my mom comes with her little, I went to church. I'd be like, Mom, I don't even want to talk about it, but are you good? Is everything good? All right. Let's keep it moving. I don't want to talk about who was at church.
I wish I would have said the box to tell somebody what I did, or what I thought about doing. Nah, I'm cool.
Nah, I can't do it. I don't even have the conversations about it. I don't judge it. I just leave it alone because that's just not my cup of tea. A lot of shit happens in the Catholic Church. Do it. Yes. And then you still got them going to the church. You still got all the elders going to the church. They're getting older and older talking shit every Sunday. I'm like, I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to talk about it. But how you doing?
The biggest hypocrites sit on the front pew on Sunday and they smell like Hennessy from Saturday, motherfuckers. Them biggest hypocrites.
Yeah. Okay.
How about it?
Said a whole lot by saying that. Exactly. Yeah, it's true though.
Stop me when I'm lying. Stop me when I'm lying. And the thing is, I appreciate people like that. You feel it, don't you? Damn, baby, I feel it. Oh, they judging you on Sunday too. You ragged, knowing what you did. I don't care if you did it 30 years ago, you still did it, and now you judging me. Oh, ain't shit ass people. Biggest hypocrite.
Yeah, that's why. Cool. That's why I have to stay away. That's why I had to stay away from St. Croix because I'm not the same person I was when I was little, honey. I will expose some. I would go on the radio, so I just had to stay. I have to stay from the island. Yeah.
Go ahead. Hey, all right. Mimi.
Well, we have a quick video. We have a quick video. This is Jordan Kepler, who is on The Daily Show with Trevor Noah. He went to a Trump rally, and this is the mind of the Occult 45. So go ahead, George.
I love that guy. I love him. I love Trevor Noah. I love that cat. I'd hang out with that cat anytime, man. He's funny as shit.
He said a little shit in the pool doesn't mean you can't swim in it.
I like that. Yeah. Wow. I mean, he does it all the time. I do think what's interesting is, hey, look, we all have opinions. We're supposed to. But if you don't have an opinion that's somewhat founded in any kind of research, which most people don't, we go off, emotion, and then you go off of what you hear around you. And we talked about this earlier. It's kind of if it's a common thread, majority tends to rule, which isn't always good. And I'm talking about on all sides. I know people that don't, black people that didn't necessarily care for what they thought Obama was doing versus, I say it all the time, the president is just a figurehead. I mean, not taking anything away from the individual, but the president is a figurehead. It's what goes on behind that curtain, like the Wizard of Oz. Don't look at the man behind the curtain. Those are the people that are really making shit happen, and those are the people you're never going to see because that's not how real power works. It is what it is. But, I mean, we all have to kind of figure out our own lane when it comes to this. I can't tell you what to think. You can't tell me what to believe. We have to read and react based on what we feel is going to be best for us. And, everybody hopes to be right, but we can't all be right. So, don't trust nobody. Don't trust nobody. But yeah, that's crazy, but and interesting. I don't know. Do y'all think more people are going to? And I know we're out of time for the most part, but just a question: do you think more people are going to or away from, let's say, organized religion or to the church for answers, considering everything that's been going on? Something to think about. Just something to think about. Are more people going to the church or going away from it?
And we'll ponder on that and answer that next week. So that'll be part 2.
Boom. Think about it, folks. Think about it. You know,
it's been
cover your
real.
booty. Cover your booty. Hold on. Cover your booty.
But our time is done. So everybody, see you. Goodbye.
One love. God bless. See you guys next week.
Good to be back starting shit. Love y'all. Take care of yourselves.
Peace, love, and hair grease.
Sure. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for rocking with us tonight. You've been listening to CB and the Boys. We come to you every Wednesday for your midweek motivator, bringing you motivation, conversation, music, laughter, and a whole lot of fun. So hopefully you experience all of those feelings tonight, and we will see you next week when we will explore part 2. Roger gave us something to ponder on, so please do remember that. Also, shout out to BTS, who is currently on their hiatus, but they're doing big things. So definitely look forward to that. And to take us home, as always, is BTS, and here is their new hit, Yet to Come. So we will see you guys next week at all. Also, happy 4th of July to one and all. And we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
They just the Asian new edition.
Was it honestly because I just want to see was it anything 어제들이 속에 참 아름답게 Girl, the past was honestly but my best is what comes next. I'm not playing this for sure. 그날을 향해 숨이 벅차게 You and I best one is yet to come. Nobody's yet to come, yeah. 그런 때부터인가 나란히 우리 최고라고 온종할 수 없는 일 이제 무겁기만 해 노래가 좋았다고 그저가 늘 뿐이라고 Promise I will keep on coming back for more. 너의 마음속 깊은 어딘가 여전 난 분명히 있어. Moment is yet to come, yet to come. 당신의 꿈꾸는가 그 길의 끝이 무엇일까? Moment is yet to come. 모든 움직인 밤 우린 발을 멈추지 않나. Yet to come. We're gonna touch the sky for the day we die. Moment is yet to come. Yeah, the best yet to come. 언젠가부터 붙은 불편한 수식어 최고란 말은 아직까지 낯간지러워 난 말하자면 나의 younger 그 전에 그때보다는 길을로 다른 게 별로 없다면 you say 썰은 나이 난 변화는 많았지만 변함은 없었다 어느 샷도 매 순간이 새로운 스트레스 지금 난 마치 열쇠 그때 나처럼 이도 배우게 많고 나 인생 새롭게 많아 그리움 불어본다면 내 심장이 말하자면 we get about it 이 세상이 주제 we ain't about it check 요란 기준에 ain't about it 감각 없음만한 coffee ain't about it dream and hope and go for we know about it 생긴 원을 돌아 결국 또 제자리 back to 너의 마음속 깊은 어딘가 조금만 소년이 있어 moment is yet to come yet to come 당신의 꿈꾸는가 그 길의 끝이 무엇일까 moment is yet to come 모든 움직인 밤 우린 발을 멈추지 않나 yet to come We're gonna touch the sky for the day we die moment is yet to come 당신의 시작이야 the best yet to come Cause I just wanna see tonight 눈부시게 지나 기억들 속에 스며드는 밤에 Yeah, the past was honestly a day But this was temporary.
Boy, I didn't know them boys spoke Spanish.